There is a particular kind of horror that exists not in the shadows, but in the familiar creak of an old house settling. It lives in the cracks that spider across a ceiling, in the slow decay of mortar between aging bricks. For the residents of certain remote villages, this decay is not the work of time or neglect. It is a warning. It is the calling card of an entity designated SCP-783, known to those who have encountered it only as there was a crooked man. The first documented victim was an elderly woman living alone. Her home, once solid, began to exhibit strange symptoms. Cracks snaked across her walls seemingly overnight. Roof tiles, though recently secured, slipped and shattered in the yard. Local builders, perplexed by the rapid deterioration of structures they had just repaired, began to question their own competence. They did not yet understand that the damage was not structural, but predatory. The woman, unaware of the danger, only felt the unease of a home groaning around her. That night, she was jolted from sleep by debris striking her face. Looking up, she saw a fresh fissure spreading across her bedroom ceiling, crumbling plaster dust raining down. Confused and frightened, she rose to investigate. As she reached her door, a heavy, muffled thump echoed from the floor below. Fear tightened in her chest. She called out into the darkness, her voice trembling with false bravado, hoping to scare off an intruder. For a long moment, there was silence. Convinced her shouts had worked, she released a shaky breath and opened her bedroom door. The next morning, her grandson arrived for a visit. He stopped dead in his tracks, staring at the house. It was wrong. The walls seemed to lean at odd angles. The roof was a chaotic mess of displaced shingles. The front door swung open on broken hinges, revealing an interior of absolute ruin. Furniture lay smashed. Belongings were scattered across the floor as if a violent storm had torn through the rooms. Only his grandmother's bedroom door at the top of the stairs was closed, a sliver of light glowing from beneath it. He called for her. No answer. He climbed the stairs, his heart pounding, and pushed the door open. What he saw would shatter his mind. His grandmother was still alive, but she was no longer recognizable. Her body had been twisted, pulled, and compressed into a horrifying mockery of a human form. Limbs were elongated to impossible lengths, bones bent at angles that defied anatomy, yet her eyes, wide and aware, stared back at him in unending agony. This is the fate of those targeted by SCP-783. The entity, which defies photographic or even physical description, becomes active for a period of 70 days every 12 years, specifically during the autumn and winter months. Its hunting grounds are typically isolated rural areas. The first sign of its presence is the inexplicable, rapid decay of buildings occupied by lone individuals. Once this decay begins, the target is already marked. The Foundation, a secret organization dedicated to containing such anomalies, is aware of SCP-783's patterns and locations. However, they have found no means to vouch its attacks. Any camera or recording device focused on the entity produces only distorted, corrupted footage, leaving its true appearance an eternal mystery. The physical trauma inflicted by SCP-783 is beyond comprehension. Victims suffer dozens of bone fractures as their skeletons are repeatedly broken and reformed. Cartilage rapidly generates, and extra skin grows to cover the newly elongated limbs, healing the wounds and ensuring the victim does not die from shock or blood loss. The results are grotesque. One victim's forearm was stretched to over 2.4 meters. Another individual was contorted into a form measuring 12.5 meters in height. They are left paralyzed, trapped in a persistent vegetative state, or, in the most cruel cases, fully conscious within their twisted, broken bodies, unable to move or speak. The Foundation currently houses 27 such victims in a specialized ward of a local hospital, silent monuments to the entity's power. Interestingly, like many anomalies, SCP-783 is not entirely unknown to the local populace. It has become a folk devil, a creature of legend passed down through generations. Foundation researchers even documented a nursery rhyme sung by local children, a rhyme that seems to recount the entity's origin story. There was a crooked man, and he did a crooked deal. He took a crooked stick and caught his crooked meal. He stole a crooked child, who gave a crooked cry. And for his crooked deeds, a crooked death did die. This chilling rhyme suggests a history, a transformation of a corrupt human into a monstrous entity. The most recent account of an encounter comes from a Foundation agent stationed in a prepared house within a village suspected to be in SCP-783's hunting grounds. For 43 days, nothing happened. Then, on the 43rd night, as the agent read in bed, a noise echoed from downstairs. The first floor cameras, now feeding only distorted, writhing images, showed something moving through the house. The moment the agent tried to leave the bedroom, he came face to face with the crooked man. For the next 5 hours, the agent's body was systematically dismantled and reformed, his bones snapping and resetting repeatedly, leaving him a pile of twisted flesh and broken bone. Strangely, as he endured his torment, every one of the 27 existing victims in the Foundation's hospital ward simultaneously suffered violent, unexplained seizures. It is a grim reminder that the horror of SCP-783 does not end with the attack. For its victims, and for those who study it, the nightmare is perpetual.